Oh my god, this Essence of Thought video is only 24 minutes long, you guys. Oh, what a fucking treat. Alright, gossip girlies. So... Essence of Thought. Bane of my existence. Essence of yapping, okay? Essence of slow talk, alright? Essence of Thought, loves to beat a dead horse. I think that's probably the kindest thing that I can say about her, is that she loves to beat a dead horse, okay? Essence of Thought is problematic in her own right, for many, 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 many different reasons. One of the biggest is that Essence of Thought is one of the people who likes to grandstand on moral authority when she doesn't have any. So, for example, for people who don't know who Lily Orchard is, Lily Orchard is somebody who is legitimately predatory, somebody who fosters a community of minors, engages with minors sexually, into every degenerate ism or thing or whatever the fuck that you, under the sun, that you could name. Incest, bestiality, sibling on sibling, parent, sibling, whatever the fuck, like, spin the wheel. She's into it. And she's not shy about it. And she also, you know, has done allegedly very inappropriate, vile, disgusting things to her sister. It's speculated that's where, like, the incest kink comes from. Anyway, I'm kind of trauma dumping on everybody here and assaulting everybody's ears, but nonetheless, Lily Orchard is a bad person. And Essence of Thought is one of the people that played somewhat of a hand in calling Lily Orchard out. It's kind of Essence of Thought's magnum opus, so to speak. But the tragic reality is that Essence of Thought really doesn't like it when anybody else talks about Lily Orchard because it takes away from her content, is really what it is. For a while there, Lily Orchard's sister, the one who was abused, allegedly, was going around trying to get people to help with Lily and, like, call attention to her behavior, etc., etc. It is rumored, or, well, it's alleged, I should say, that Essence of Thought was aware of a minor that was being sexted by Lily Orchard, and that Essence of Thought chose not to give that information to Lily's sister in order to, 1, get her caught, 2, get her to stop, and 3, get her to face some kind of consequences, because ACAB. And I'm not fucking kidding, that was her whole fucking point. But what it boils down to at the end of the day is that Essence of Thought really truly only cares about the Lily content as much as she can make money off of it and be the authority on the subject, even to the point of basically, like, explaining Courtney's abuse to her. Courtney is Lily Orchard's sister, explaining her abuse to her in a very condescending way. Okay, really not the best move optically, but nonetheless, it was a choice that was made. Essence of Thought also has, like, the memory span and the vengeance of the world's oldest living sea turtle. Okay, she still has beef with people from, like, in 6 years ago, and she still makes videos about it to this day because I don't know. I couldn't tell you why. I don't pretend to know. And finally, of course, Essence of Thought is born out of the old atheist debate scene. So she tries to overly intellectualize fucking everything to a nauseating degree. She always acts like she's the smartest person in the fucking room. She takes 10 years to get to a point because she has to be so superfluous in the way that she talks and so overdramatic and so drawn out just to make sure that you know that she is thinking with all of her brain power. Okay, very dislikable individual, to say the least. Any hooser, lots of Essence of Thought stuff goes on around here, okay? She's quite the hot commodity. Everybody hates her content, but they love to hate watch it, okay? And that's why we're all here. We're all here in good company. Nonetheless, Essence of Thought recently made a video about her quote-unquote stalkers offering money for private information on her. Ooh, big, scary, spooky no-no, okay? But the stalker in question is actually here with us this evening. And it is Ruin. Ruin is the stalker in question. So we are going to determine if Ruin is indeed a violent, transmisogynistic stalker who only wants to see the world burn. Or is Ruin just someone who is asking questions? We will find out with the Malcolm review. All right, let's go, lesbians. And we also love that my name is spelled wrong in that. Thank you, Oliver. I literally paid you for that. You spelled my name wrong, but it's okay. I think it's funny.
First come, first served. If anyone wants to make an easy one...
This is also on 2 times speed, by the way. So if you're like, wow, holy f***, she's talking slow. This is on 2 times, or not 2 times, excuse me, 1.5. So buckle up.
$170? Find out Ethelfirson's middle name. Yes, the pretentious dipshit from Essence of Thought. I'm willing to bet half my rent that it begins with O, because she's that much of a living caricature of her fellow autism spectrum disorder people. End quote.
What? Ruin, what is this?
I wanted to do. I've been posting videos to the internet since I was 14, I've dealt with my fair share of stalkers and general predators, and I know the risks involved in responding to such violence. That said, the people in...
Ruin, can you please confirm or deny? Prove your innocence to me. Were you looking to do harm to Essence of Thought? Are you somebody who is so violent, unhinged, and deranged that you're about to get on a plane and fly to India? Put out a hit? Is that what you were doing here? What's going on? Also, I tweeted that shit over a year ago.
Today's video already seems set on escalating things, and I'm worried that my silence will be taken as a tacit admission that these people and their behavior is okay, allowing it to proliferate. So whilst I've...
Why would anybody think that? Why would anybody think that? Why would anybody think that, oh, Essence of Thought isn't responding to people that are, like, tweeting about her a year ago? That must mean that she's okay with it. What are you talking about right now? What are you talking about right now?
Completely ignore these people since 2021. I can't do that anymore. After sitting down with Adita and my therapist, I've reached the conclusion that I need to be willing to advocate for myself just as hard as I'd advocate for anyone else. So yeah, let's drag some stalkers. But first, a quick content warning for the following.
Ooh, ultimate cringe! Let's drag some stalkers. Okay. Content warning, transmisia, which is just a really fancy way of saying transphobia. Ableism, racism, stalking, sexual harassment, and CSA. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... 6 horsemen of the apocalypse. Buckle up.
Transmisia, ableism, racism, stalking, sexual harassment, and child sexual abuse. If our work has helped you, please consider supporting us via Patreon so we can keep the channel running. You can also help us by liking, commenting, and sharing our work on social media. I'd also just like to take this time to remind our viewers that the statements made throughout our videos are the opinions of myself, the host, based on the evidence I have available to me. They are not and should not be taken as unquestionable fact, which is why we reference everything, because we're valuable. Thus, we strive to give you, the viewer, the ability to check all evidence for yourself in order to make up your own mind, which is what the reference numbers in the top left corner are for, being numbers that match up with the reference list found in the transcript linked down below.
Next.
As such, we encourage all viewers to do their own research to reach an informed conclusion about the topic.
Okay, next.
Hi there. My name's Ethelfirston, she, her, they, them, and we need to talk about one of my stalkers offering money for my information, how this is the latest in a long chain of escalation, and exactly why they feel entitled to terrorize me. And whilst we will be covering...
Ruin is a terrorist. Oh my god, you guys, there's a terrorist in here with us right now. That's nuts.
Covering 2 of my stalkers for reasons that will become obvious later, my focus is primarily going to be on Rordhan1334, or Rord for short, who we saw in the opening tweets. Rordhan Jarman McElroy is a 45-year-old man who...
Did she just fucking blast your whole fucking name? What? Did she deadass just do that? Is that public information? Did she literally just fucking do that? For real? I'll speed it up a little bit. Sorry, guys. I'll make it 1.75 just for you. That's crazy to, like, do this video about how, like, doxing and harassing is bad and then be like, anyway, here's this dude's whole fucking name. Oh, okay. All right. Slow down there. Jesus Christ.
Has been stalking me since 2021. Now, I want to be clear about what I mean when I say stalking, as I feel like that's a term bandied about a lot. Rord is not someone I've harmed.
This is the gang stalking shit. This is like what the people on TikTok are for, the gang stalkers.
In the past, they're not seeking justice for any cause, and they're not simply criticizing me on their own platform. They're someone who, after feeling consequences for their own actions, namely being banned from my Discord, has decided to continue seeking me out and harassing me. So, let's start at the beginning. Rord joined the Essence of Thought community Discord server on the 5th of February 2021. He largely kept to himself, only getting involved in a handful of discussions, so I didn't detect any sort of animosity from him. Sure, we disagreed on things, like the time he noted his discomfort with me expressing that I, as a non-binary person who had previously looked up to, defended, and even promoted Natalie Wynn of ContraPoints, see the fan Photoshop I made, felt like she had exploited my community for her own gain, only to discard us and stab us in the back when convenient. I reiterate...
Oh, okay, so this is about the ContraPoint shit. I would die for ContraPoints, so I'm the wrong person to ask about this. ContraPoints could walk out in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody, and I would still support her, so I'm not the person to ask about this.
Created my reasons for why I felt that way, noting how it's something I've also experienced as a bisexual person, and how tired I was of said experience. So, polite disagreement, at least from my perspective. The first sign that this wasn't the case came in August of 2021, when I found Raw sharing a video by Stephen Woodford of Rationality Rules regarding Rachel Oates and the events.
How are we still talking about Rachel Oates? How? Leave Rachel alone. Leave Rachel alone! Okay. Speed run for everybody who is not caught up, okay? Because this is a lot, okay? Long time ago, like, I'm talking like fucking 6 years ago, okay? Like, long time ago. Like, very long time ago. Internet atheist debate sphere. Essence of Thought is in there. Ethel is in there, okay? There's this dude, Rationality Rules. Rationality Rules makes a video about how he thinks that trans women shouldn't be allowed to compete against cis women in sports. Rachel Oates, one time, like somewhere in the distant future or past or whatever the fuck, had like a nice thing to say about Rationality Rules one fucking times. Essence of Thought, instead of getting mad at Rationality Rules for putting out a dogshit video, went full sicko mode on Rachel fucking Oates. Like, I'm talking like years and years and years and years and years of shit. To the point where Rachel Oates literally self-harmed. Essence of Thought called the cops on Rachel Oates to do a fucking wellness check. Like, and it's been 6 years, and still, video after video after video after video. It's like, girl, let it go. Let it go. No. Nuclear.
Since 2019. Raw stated in non-clear terms that I had told Rachel Oates to commit suicide, a lie on 2 separate counts.
Okay, this wasn't a lie. Shit, what is the quote? Somebody get me the quote. It's in my video. What is the quote? Hang on. I gotta find it, because Ethel Thurston be lying, okay? She do be lying. Where is this quote? I have this quote.
2 hours later.
Fuck, you guys. It's in this document somewhere, but I'm not gonna dig through the whole document. Anyway, she basically said, do the world a favor and exit. That's what she said.
2019, only to later change her mind and story after realizing that her weaponizing of self-harm to silence her trans critics.
Can you guys believe this? If I would have just let it play, she would have showed it to me. How embarrassing.
Was far more obvious without said fabricated provocation. For more information, I do have
Oh, never mind. That isn't even the screenshot. She didn't show the actual screenshot. Never
my
mind.
video on the events between us fully referenced, so you don't have to take my word on anything. Returning to Raw, I reached out in private, keeping in mind that one of the main criticisms levied against me about how I handled 2019 is that I should have reached out to people in private rather than making a public scene. I asked Raw to be open to looking at said evidence, noting clearly how the tweet in question wasn't a reply to Oates. And the reason I started with that point as opposed to what I said is very simple.
Oh, so she's making the argument, so off the top of my head, the way that it was threaded was like she was responding to Rachel Oates. Somebody else commented and said something in defense of Rachel Oates, and then she said in response to that person, she should do the world a favor and exit, something to that extent. And then she was like, well, because technically I wasn't like replying directly to her. I never told her to kill herself. It's like, you're such a weasel, dude.
There is no ambiguity there.
What? Where? What? Oh, I'm not sharing my screen. Sorry.
Whilst the wording of said tweet was shit and thus easily misunderstood, there is no question as to who it was a reply to or that Oates herself acknowledged said facts.
I'm crashing out, you guys. I've fried my brain so fucking hard for you guys today.
At the time. This makes for an easy litmus test. If a person refuses to acknowledge such an obvious lie, then they're not someone who cares about the truth, they're someone looking for an ad hoc excuse to demonize me. Which is exactly what Raw showed me. He first noted how I had blocked him at some point and thus he couldn't see the post.
Also, how is she saying your name? She's saying, like, that's not what Raw told me. Like, what the fuck is she even trying to say?
Which, fair enough. But rather than giving me the chance to unblock him so that he could see said evidence, he sent me a wall of text, bringing up a plethora of issues completely unrelated to the topic in question. This sudden shift of what I was being charged with was, to me, confirmation that he was not acting rationally. So I stuck my hands up and told him it'd be futile to continue. The only other thing I mentioned, and this was prompted by him claiming to have followed my work, was that I was disappointed with the casual ableism he was using. And that's it. That was the level of—
What casual ableism did you use? Did you say, like, idiot or something? Is that the casual ableism? Did you say dumb in your conversation with her? Because I imagine that's probably what it was. I imagine you weren't like, oh my god, we should redacted disabled people. I imagine you just said, that's stupid or something, and that's the ableism we're talking about. Dude, I don't know why the fuck she's still talking about Rachel Oates. I have no fucking idea. It's like, get a hobby, girl. Like, you peaked like 5 years ago. We all know.
Followed my work was that I was disappointed with the casual ableism he was using. And that's it. That was the level of interaction. Now, he was still in the server, as he noted he was in those messages, and I was okay with that, since I was hoping that maybe, once he calmed down, he might reevaluate things. I know just how damning the evidence against Rachel Oates is. I see multiple people—
It's literally not damning at all, by the way. The evidence is like— just for comparative effect here, we're at like Lewis McClung levels of reaching when it comes to the Rachel Oates shit. It's like your beef is not with her, it's with rationality rules. Grow up and attack the person that you're actually mad at instead of taking pot shots at some random fucking person who, for all intents and purposes, just like doesn't want anything to do with it. It's like there's nothing more outrageous. There's nothing more ostentatious to me than somebody who very clearly like disrespects somebody who's like, dude, please just leave me the fuck alone. It's been like 5 years. Okay. And it's not like a tit for tat thing, right? It's not like a tit for tat thing. If somebody's like, Malcolm, please leave me alone after you've made your like 10th hit piece on me, it's like, kick rocks, dude. I'm going to respond to your 176th hit piece. It's happening, right? It's like, Rachel hasn't responded like to fucking anything, dude. It's like, read the room. Party's over. Time to go home. Okay. Everybody else is done. All right. You're the one that's like on a bender over here in the corner, scaring fucking everybody. Like they're about to call the cops to get you to leave their fucking house. You're basically squatting at this point. It's just fucking embarrassing.
Oates fans and supporters, including Levi and Rena Rice, look at said evidence, realize what Oates is, and abandon her. So I decided to just let him be, thinking maybe he'd find his own way back. That was until the 11th of October 2021, when I was working on a video.
2021, dude. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares?
Exposing the facts that the massively racist anti-trans bigot, Ian Kaczynski, better known as Vorsh, was a self-confessed sexual predator, and I came across a post in which Rord mocked me to Kaczynski's subreddit. I thought, okay, fine, I'm a big girl. I can live with being criticized. Again, see the previous incident as proof of that. That changed, however, when I read the following section. Quote, relevant, because not only does Ethel have a likely completely arbitrary grudge against Vorsh, but the EOT Discord server also has a bunch of code names for various people and websites. Like, let someone else become vaguely irreparably triggered by the word Twitter. In context of the social media site/app, they call it Birdsite. I literally forgot what they decided their code name for Natalie Wynn is, because in spite of still technically lurking on there, that's a brutally exhausting server to read.
Yeah, I would agree. That's like super bitch made, dude. It's like, I don't understand. I think I've told you guys this story before. There was one time where I was in like a really small bean space. I got coup d'etat, and I got kicked out of this fucking space because I said that there's a difference between like a content warning and a trigger warning. That's what it was, the straw that broke the camel's back. Anyway, they splintered, and everybody who was mad at me went somewhere else, and they censored my name with a trigger warning. They asked that my name come with a trigger warning. That's my crowning achievement. That's when I peaked.
End quote. Twitter was the only trigger to receive an alt label, and even then, it wasn't an actual rule. A group of people adopted the label for themselves, and it just caught on, though its use has sort of waned recently along with the site's power. Everything else is Ward's invention, a fact he knows, as I literally used both ContraPoints and Natalie in replies during that earlier conversation. Ward's lying will become a...
It literally says, content warning, ContraPoints. Content warning, ContraPoints. And listen, no shame, guys. If you want your little safe space bubble on the internet, go crazy, dude. The world is an insane place to be. If you want to be somewhere where you are caveated and catered to out the ass, go be in that space. That's beautiful. And I'm happy that you have that space and you can truly be insulated from the world in a way that you find is helpful to you. I'm very happy for you that you have that. But unironically, at what point is this just like enabling neuroticism? Like, at what point are we just like, okay, dude, like come on. It's ContraPoints. Come on.
Both ContraPoints and Natalie in replies during that earlier conversation. Ward's lying will become a common theme as we go forward.
Liar!
Because whilst I can take being mocked and even lied about personally, I draw the line at people trivializing the trauma inflicted upon my community members, regardless of what that trauma entails.
Trauma from ContraPoints is... whatever, man. Whatever.
I wish that wasn't some radical stance to take, but apparently it is. So I removed Ward from the server before telling him why, both on Discord and Reddit, and that is it, at least on my part. That was the last time I talked to Rord or about him publicly, with me calling him out for trivializing PTSD. Rord was not happy about this and took to venting on WordPress, which, again, absolutely fair. I'll reference said blog as always, so you can check the whole thing for yourself, but I just wanted to focus down on one particular section, and that's the part that asserted, quote, I've also not once mocked anyone's mental health issues, but I have seen yourself and others within your cadre do that when it's someone you decided to cast as the enemy for whatever reasons. End.
I really can take your accusations seriously. When I was watching live at the time, the cops hate Mo merely showing up in the chat on an Essence of Thought stream was enough to completely derail the planned topic, practically silence your own guest, and launch both yourself and Levi into the most revolting display of verbal abuse I personally witnessed in a great while. You're talking about mental health advocacy, sure runs cheap, and at the same time, you and Levi will have the nerve to act surprised when somebody else makes the decision to do what's best for one's own mental health and step away from the two of you literally shouting at that person. Love Cops Hate Mo, by the way. Love Cops Hate Mo. I don't know what this Cops Hate Mo slander is about. Cops Hate Mo is the fucking goat, okay? Love that little dude. This requires, like, really? What are you talking about? Like, the mocking of the mental health issues was being like, bro, why do you need a trigger warning for ContraPoints? This is a Discord server for a YouTuber. Probably other content creators are gonna come up. Like, hello?
Quote. Except, as you all saw a few minutes ago, that's
Relevant because not only does Essence of Ethel Thurston likely have a likely completely arbitrary grudge against Fosh, but the Essence of Thought Discord server is also a bunch of codename. Okay, so we already read this part. Okay, I don't care.
simply another lie. Rord wasn't merely saying something crass. He was changing his language in a way intended to mock said people, cutting himself off mid-sentence as if he was speaking.
Yeah, because it is, you are vaguely uncomfortable by the mention of a content creator that you dislike. If you are somebody who truly is, like, triggered, like you have a trauma response to somebody mentioning the name of a YouTuber, you need to be off the internet, dude. You need to be off the internet. If that is something that, honest to God, unironically triggers you in that capacity, you just need to be off the internet, dude. I don't know what to tell you.
Speaking rather than typing for what I can only assume was some attempt at comedic effort. This paragraph was written with the sole intention of mocking people with PTSD as a result of mass harassment by equating their horrific trauma with mild discomfort. That is mocking someone's mental.
Yeah, what? Yeah, dude. If watching a YouTube video gives you horrific trauma, and I'm talking like a YouTube video, I'm not talking about like an ISIS beheading video. You watch like a normal fucking YouTube video and it does that, that's a problem.
Mental health. What isn't mocking mental health is Levi calling out Cops Hate Mo's attempts to gaslight us in the chat of our live stream, which is the case Rord clutches at. But I said nothing. Rord was banned from the community server, he could say whatever crap about me to his own platform as far as I was concerned, I was just set on ignoring him from that point onward. Sadly, Rord did not share my outlook. In response to being banned from our Discord server, a server he very vocally didn't want to be a part of, Rord set up the EOT Survivors subreddit. In the very first subreddit,
That's hilarious.
Rord declared me to be, quote, one of the most manipulative, self-serving, and narcissism-motivated people on YouTube.
Yeah, probably.
Which, on top of being incredibly ableist, he could have just stated self-serving
Oh my god. Colloquial means nothing to these people.
without stigmatizing people with personality disorders. Let's just stop to think about that for a second. I set
think about
boundaries
it.
to protect my community members, using the tools available to me in
Wow.
banning him from a Discord server he very clearly didn't enjoy, and Rord thinks that me doing so amounts to abuse and makes him a survivor of my
I'm sure that's not what Ruin is referencing there. I'm sure that's not it. I'm sure it's like the cult-like atmosphere, the dogmatic worship, the fear of retaliation if you speak negatively. And here we see exactly that, right? How dare you go behind Essence of Thought, Ethel's back? How dare you betray the queen? The Hive exists to protect the queen, and you have betrayed her. It's over for you. It's like, grow up, dude. Like, go outside.
narcissistic manipulations. This is when I started to get a little worried and began passing information over to Levi, who had, by this point, become my editor. Also, I love the claim that I surround myself with people uncritical of me, like I hadn't let Rord reside on the server for several months after I caught him spreading lies about me. Also, as pointed out by Levi, his
Sounds
one
like your
job is to
problem.
criticize me, and I know he will do it since, remember, we connected as he stood up to Rachel Oates as a former fan of hers, someone with vastly more power than me. So his actions in standing up to power when it's the right thing to do speak for themselves. There's also a bunch of other stuff to call out, such as referring to me as quote-unquote mixed thang. Thang is Black American English for thing, and since we're not friends, we don't have the sort of rapport that would lead me to feeling comfortable in being
What? White British woman who lives in India. Thank you for that. Like, what are we even doing right now, you guys? What are we even doing right now? Is anything even real? Are we awake? Is this a dream? Are we in Inception right now? Is this an honest-to-God thing? What the fuck?
thang. Thang is Black American English for thing, and since we're not friends, we don't have the sort of rapport that would lead me to feeling comfortable in being labeled a thing. I very much consider this as dehumanizing.
Oh, come on. This is worse than Lewis McClung. It's worse. There, I said it. It's worse. Oh, so you think you're all that in a bag of chips, little miss thing? That's like a thing. Like, that's what people say when people think they're hot shit. Oh, so you think they're all that, miss thing? That's what you think? Is that so, miss thing? You're calling me a thing. You're dehumanizing me and misgendering me. Call me Bork and put me the fuck down, because I don't want to fucking be here anymore.
As it is appropriative. As for the subreddit, how did it do? Well, it's gone now. Kinda. It's still there, but no longer under the name EOT Survivors, instead having this weird combination of letters and numbers. Levi explained to me that this means the subreddit fell into inactivity, leading the name to be removed. And part of the reason it became inactive is because it never got above 2 members, even after all these years, which I find very telling. Someone quite literally set up a space designed to expose me, yet this is the most traction they got.
It was years ago. Let it go. Grow up.
Side note, whilst I have had people leave my circle over the years, not one of them has done so on the basis of abuse or evidence of abuse. Time and time again, when any of these people are pressed on their actual reasons for disliking me, it always comes back to, F will criticize someone I like, therefore every bad thing ever asserted about her must be true, even—
No, it's just you're really boring and you make everything like an attack on your trans identity when it has literally nothing to do with it.
retroactively. We saw it here with Rord in how criticism of Natalie and her enablers led him to spread known disinformation regarding Oates, only for him to spill the facts that Oates wasn't the real issue when pressed on it. He just couldn't lie so easily about his actual issues, so resorted to 2019 as a convenient shorthand. Then, just the other week, I had someone else pretending to know about me and Rachel Oates, accusing me of being transmisogynistic and attacking Oates because she's a trans woman, only for me to point out that, no, she's a cis woman, leading said person to immediately claim that I was targeting her for being cis. A quick glance over to their profile revealed that, shocker, they're a Natalie Wynn fan, and they hated me for calling out Wynn's glorification of proud domestic abuser, Buck Angel. Oh, and they since posted to the EOT Spider subreddit, claiming that me correcting them on Oates' cis status was bullying. But seriously, if you hate me, why? And I don't mean dislike, but genuinely hate me. What have I ever done outside of criticizing someone you enjoy?
Because you're insufferable, and you're pedantic, and you're pretentious, and you're entitled, and you think that everything is tantamount to the fucking Holocaust. Like, nobody can just, like, have a bad opinion. Nobody can have, like, a stupid take. It's like a moral failing that they don't agree with you. It's a condemnation of their character that they have an opinion different than yours. It's insufferable, and it's nauseating. There you go. Write that down.
I'm genuinely curious. Other creators engage in bigotry, predatory behavior, the glorification of abusers, stripping victims of their identity and voice, or trace real-life photos of infants to draw cub porn. All I have ever done is call them out for it. Like, even if you disagree with my criticism, or God forbid—
Here we go. I'll give a really hot one. You had the ability to get Lily Orchard possibly in legal trouble and kept away from children indefinitely, but you chose not to because you wanted to be the queen of content around Lily Orchard. And additionally, for whatever reason, you were like, I can't call the cops on somebody who's literally predating on children because they're trans genocide, ACAB. There you go. That's a pretty scathing condemnation, I think, no?
My fucking tone, that doesn't place me on the same level as an abuser, an exploiter, or an enabler. It would just make me wrong. Yet all I've been shown again and again is that most people seem to view the possibility of me being wrong about a popular creator as a far greater crime than repeated, unapologetic abuse, which feels kind of fucked up. Sadly, this is where things start to become much more extreme, with Rord invoking the most traumatic experience I have ever been made to suffer through, namely the fact that I was raped as a 6-year-old child whilst living inside—
What the fuck? Guys, come on. Come on. What are we doing with this? Why do we have to wheel this shit out? Guys? We're losing the argument. You guys know what time it is.
Purely as a means of mocking me. In a 2022 thread in which a group of people went after DJ Mule—
For all we know, it's probably just another one of his weird-ass lies. Hell, it almost sounds as plagiarized from Essence of Tweet's background story. But if so, he changed just enough to avoid Ethel's infamous wrath. So this says, DJ Mule says, don't talk to me about older women taking advantage. I was literally raped and groomed by 2 women when I was a kid. I think I know what that shit looks like, you piece of shit. Kovac says, you know the person you're talking to literally didn't know any of that. You weirdly toxic and deeply unserious debate nerd. And then Ruin says, for all we know, it's probably just another one of his weird-ass lies. Hell, it almost sounds plagiarized from it. So, if anything, if we're not stupid, let's take a second here. What Ruin is implying is that DJ Mule is plagiarizing Essence of Thought's abuse story. That DJ Mule saw the that's the implication here. It's probably just another weird-ass lie of DJ Mule's. Hell, it almost sounds as if it's plagiarized from Essence of Tweet's background story. But if so, he changed it just enough to avoid being called out for being plagiarized. Hello? Really?
Mule for having the audacity to cover Xanderhol's history of grooming and abusing people, DJ Mule let slip the facts that he'd been groomed and raped by 2 women as a child. And yet, in spite of not being involved in this conversation at all, Rord came rushing in, tagging me, whilst also stating that, quote, for all we know, it's probably just another one of his weird-ass lies. Hell, it almost sounds plagiarized from Ethel Thurston's background story, but if so, he changed just enough to avoid Ethel's infamous wrath, end quote. I read this, and all I can see is that clip of Donald Trump mocking Sergei Kovaleski.
So she literally can't read. She literally saw this and was like, this is about me, and it wasn't about her. What?
Like, that's the level of pure cruelty on display here. Keep in mind that I still hadn't spoken about Rord since I banned him from the server in October of 2021, an entire year prior to this, not a—
Xanderhall's history of abusing people is that there was an accusation floating around that Xanderhall had like a weird fucking sex cult. Who was it? It was Thought Slime was the one that popularized that. It was like that, you know, Xanderhall has like a grooming Discord where everybody, you know, gets groomed into being Xanderhall's sex slave or something. Obviously, we all know that's not the case because Xander Hall is not fucking. We all know that. But the criticism was that he had like a private Discord channel where they would like share nudes and shit like that. And that was really it. Is that like a weird, bizarro freak behavior to have a channel in your Discord server where you can share nudes with your fans? Yeah, I think that's fucking weird. But to say that that's like a sex cult, I think that's a little bit too far.
Single word. Yet he was going out of his way to tag me into stuff, mocking me for being raped as a 6-year-old child.
Nobody was mocking you! Oh my god. I'm uncomfortable when we're not about me. Please.
As a fucking backstory like I'm some anime character or some shit. I'm not. I'm a living human being. It's hard for me to move on from this. So much of my mind is telling me to stop, to quit now. Because if this doesn't convince you that Rord is a horrific monster, I genuinely don't know what will.
I have a good idea. Like, log off and do anything else with your time. Please.
And yet, things got worse. Which finally brings us back around to the post at the start, the post in which Rord offered money for my private information. Okay. Do I have to say how terrible this is? I'm genuinely unsure.
Let's read this post one more time. If anyone wants to make an easy $170, find out Ethel Thurston's middle name. Yes, the pretentious dipshit from Essence of Thought. I'm willing to bet half of my rent that it begins with O because she's that much of a living caricature of her fellow ASD people. Across Ethel of Thurston's entire online social media presence, she has a distinct essence of noun. Naming pattern, usually noun begins with T. I don't think it's mere coincidence that she named herself Ethel Thurston, therefore I think it's highly likely that her... So you're like guessing that her middle name starts with O. Ruin, why did you want her middle name? What was the point of this? What was the point of this? Was this just like a tongue-in-cheek joke? Do you unironically want to find her middle name? Talk to me. What is this about? And yes, this is from, what, a year ago, 2 years ago? What was the point of this? Please elaborate. Because it's funny. Okay, based, I'll allow.
Money for my private information. Do I have to say how terrible this is? I'm genuinely unsure, since the last time I felt I was sure of something, i.e. that stripping victims of sexual violence of their voice and identity to engage in shitty plagiarism was a bad thing, I suddenly became public enemy number one. I guess it's important to counter what I'm expecting people to say, that this is frivolous information that's unlikely to cause harm, or that it's just a joke.
Yeah, like, I mean, I think, like, what, like, we can be a little bit, let's be fair, guys, let's be fair. Maybe a little tongue-in-cheek, but is it a joke that I would make? Maybe. Like, I think the joke is that, like, she's doing, like, the archetype where people will, like, name their YouTube channels after, like, it's like an acronym for their name, like Essence of Thought, Ethel Thurston. So her middle name is probably like Orwell. Like, that probably would have been a better way to take that, if I can offer constructive criticism. Be like, oh, I bet Essence of Thought's middle name is Orwell, because it's Essence of Thought. Ethel Orwell Thurston. Like, I think that's what we're getting at. Obviously, I can see that, okay? I am, because I can actually interpret that. I'm not blinded by my rage for an individual person. I can kind of understand what you were getting at. Like I said, would I have made that joke? I probably would have made it a little bit different, but, like, she could have just, like, asked and been like, yo, what the fuck is this? But then again, even if you told her it was a joke, she would have been like, so you're being ableist. And it's like, no, I'm not, but okay. Like, I don't know. Either way for me, but, like, The idea that somebody makes a joke like this is an inclination that they're gonna, like, come to your house in real life and fucking kill you is insane, I think. Somebody making a joke of, like, oh my god, I bet your middle name is, like, Bartholomew because, you do be, you know, harvesting that wheat, or, like, something stupid like that. I wouldn't be like, oh, they're trying to find out my middle name and dox me and kill me! It's like, I think that it was just probably, like, a shitty joke, truthfully. And obviously, humor is subjective. Some people might think that's funny, some people might not. Some people might think it's over the line, some people might not. Obviously, humor is subjective. The fact of the matter is that Ruin does not have Essence of Thought's middle name. Ruin, even if he did have Essence of Thought's middle name, probably wouldn't fucking do anything with it. And it's not like it matters anyway, because Essence of Thought is her fucking name. What does the middle name do? Honest question. Like, if that's already her full legal name, what does the middle name add there? Just out of curiosity. Like, I could be, you know, totally wrong here. But what does the middle name even do? If her handle is her fucking name, what does that do? Honest question. Honest question. Her middle name is Of. See, there you go, Tempo. Tempo's got it. Tempo's got it. There you go. Got it. Nah, she's super duper old lady named Ethel Opal. There you go. Obviously, Psy stands for Simone Allegra Ibsen. Based. Okay, I like that. I think it's funny, but I'm very autistic. I like puns. Okay, based. Ethel missed out on getting $170. True. Anyway, I think that, you know, we're kind of grasping at straws here, which is generally my criticism for Essence of Thought in general, is that we're very hyperbolic to the nth degree, that everything is like literally this attack on my life has left me scarred and deformed. We're always on that level. The heat is always cranked up to 100. It's always like I'm about to be killed. You know what I mean?
To which, okay, let's say both of those things are true. What's to stop Rord from escalating things further? I thought things were going to stop at Rord opting to lie to his platform about why he was banned, only for
He was talking shit in my Discord server, I kicked him, and then he went to a different Discord server and was talking shit, and then after a while he made a Reddit page because he wanted to gossip about me. So now, honestly, he could realistically be Hitler. Like, just being realistic. Like, he has demonstrated that anything is possible. Like, he is willing to escalate this far by talking shit about me in more than one place. That means that he is capable of murder. Nice.
for him to mock me being raped as a 6-year-old child and
No
publicly
one
offer money for my
mocked you.
private information.
No one
Let's
mocked
say I
you.
don't respond, or worse, someone else reaches out with that information.
You didn't respond for like 2 fucking years and nobody said a goddamn word. Like, grow up.
What's to stop Rord from escalating, from
Yeah.
demanding other, more dangerous information, genuinely this time, assuming he is indeed joking here? As pointed out by Levi, even if this is just a joke, well, that's precisely the problem. There is a public,
that the problem?
unapologetic demand for my private information, and we're busy debating whether this is serious just because he's justifying it with petty speculation about my username. He's getting away with attempted doxing just by mocking me whilst he
Attempted
does
doxing.
it, and this is so effective that he's been able to start with offering money for parts of my legal name. How much worse will it have to get before he strays into uncomfortable, let alone unacceptable territory? What if he starts using this tactic on other people?
What if he starts killing people, you guys? What if he starts murdering people? What if he starts cannibalizing people? What then? Then is it a stupid joke to you guys? Then is it just a funny meme for you to laugh about with your friends when there are dead, cannibalized corpses littering the streets? I bet you wouldn't be laughing then, would you?
If other stalkers catch on and start using this tactic themselves. He's normalizing doxing. It's working, it's everyone's problem, and the only way to stop
Literally
it is to
nobody
make
cared.
zero tolerance policy.
You're literally not that important. Literally nobody even knew that this happened.
There is no way to joke about soliciting real private information. I no longer
Jokes
have
are
the
not
choice
allowed.
of remaining silent at this point. That choice was taken from me by Rord when he chose to endanger not just me, but Adito as well. I need
Ew.
to put a spotlight on this creep so that everyone
I need to put a spotlight on this guy who is doxing, and doxing is bad. Anyway, here's his full fucking name. Here's how old he is. Here's a picture of him. This is somebody who's not a public figure, mind you. Yeah, guys, doxing is really bad. Anyway, let me say his full name one more time for the camera.
knows exactly what he and EOT survivors are about. They don't have evidence of abuse on my part, so they're instead seeking to make me afraid to advocate for myself and my rights as a trans person on the platform I spent more than a decade building from the ground up. They're trying to use Tether.
You've been building it from the ground up. You're at, for what? How old is she? How many years did she say it was? How many years has she been building her platform from the ground up? She is literally hoisting the fucking wreckage of the Titanic out of the sea. We have almost 50k subscribers here. We have our videos. These ones are actually, the JK Rowling ones are pretty not too bad. But then we come down here, guys. 2.7, 1.7, 2.7, 3.6, 2.5, 5.3, 2.5, 3.1, 2.1, 2K, 7K, 2.7K, 6K, 4K, 25K, 24K. Wow, we are, wow. Mankind will marvel in all that you have built, Ethel. You are a goddess amongst men.
To achieve the political aim of silencing me and all the work we do here on this channel. The research we share, the causes we promote, the voices we amplify. Even the people whose memories we carry with us because nobody else will. Rord
Oh, Captain, my Captain, we speak of the dead transgenders when no one else will hear!
and his goons want to destroy all of it.
Goons? Wow, that's problematic. I can't identify how, but that's problematic that she called people like that goons. Somehow that has to be problematic. Somebody find me information on how that's problematic, please, and thank you.
Because I banned him from my server after he mocked victims of harassment suffering PTSD. You either get it or you don't. I don't know
yeah,
how to
don't
make
get
a
it.
heartless person feel. I don't know what to say or do. Any emotion I've shown in the past, whether it be sorrow, pain, or anger, has always come back around to be weaponized against me.
Well, it's probably because you emote those things through your little fucking clip art pit crew. That's probably what makes it uncomfortable. Be like if somebody was streaming and they had their little VTuber like have a cry emote, like, yeah, I don't know if everybody's gonna love that one, but I don't know if that's gonna land the way that you want it to.
It's like I'm strung up, caught between 1,000 piano wires that cut into me no matter which way I move or how. Always pushing deeper, always causing agony until it just overloads my fucking mind.
That's crazy. You know what would help with that if you got like a real job and stopped making videos on the internet? if making videos online feels like piano wires in a jigsaw trap, digging into all of your orifices and just fucking gutting you from the inside, McDonald's is always hiring.
Mind. The only conclusion I can draw is that there will never be a correct way for me to exist as an autistic trans person. By following the
that is not the issue here. Let's not be reductive.
codes society pretends to aspire towards, protecting victims, addressing abusers, ending exploitation, I will always be demonized as a radical element in need of immediate and violent suppression. That's just how
Who has been violent against you? What are you talking about right now?
society treats the people who actually live by their word, as inhuman monsters, because no actual person would genuinely try their best. Everyone should just be selfish, like everyone else. I have more words to say, particularly about this post, the ableism, and some of the charges levied against me,
When will my suffering end?
as well as the second stalker involved in all this that I mentioned at the start. But I don't feel like tagging them on the end here. This isn't just another response video, this is a warning to people about Rawhan Jarman McElroy and the danger he poses.
Well, guys, how are we feeling? Are we feeling like we're in danger right now? Does everybody have their social security number tucked away somewhere safely so that Ruin does not come and steal it from you? Does everybody feel like their middle name is a well-kept secret right now, or is everybody feeling a little uncomfortable with the energy that we've created in the studio, knowing that Ruin is here, and Ruin could at any moment ask for your middle name and literally come to your house and kill you? Does anybody know that? How does everybody feeling? Yeah. Well, cool. Another fucking nothing burger from... What, drama from how many years ago now? Like, girl, again, it's giving, like, I peaked vibes. It's like, come on. I needed to say something because people thought this was okay. Nobody even knew what you were talking about. What do you mean? I had to say something about this. I had to bring awareness to... Who was talking about it? No one. Oh, you just wanted attention. That's okay. You can say it. You can say it, Queen. Nobody would be mad at you if you were just like, no, dude, I really fucking want attention. Nobody would be mad about that. That's fine. You're right. As a content creator on the internet, that's what you want. You want attention. I completely understand. That's literally why everybody is here. No? Why anybody creates content, right? They want attention. They want money. They want popularity. That's literally the only reason that people make content. That's literally the point. Nobody would be mad. Just, be true. Be real. Be true to yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's just, ugh.